the most underrated tiaras in royal collections. Forget the tiaras you've already seen 1,000 times. Forget the Cambridge Lover's Knot, the Cartier Halo, the pieces that show up in every royal jewels video ever made. Tonight we're going somewhere else. We're talking about the tiaras sitting quietly in the background, worn once and never again, hidden behind bigger, flashier collections tied to scandals nobody remembers, or built for weddings that happened while the world was looking somewhere else. Some belong to queens. One was made with diamonds so secretive they never even left the country during construction. Another has been silently worn by nearly every bride in an entire royal family for 40 years, and you've probably never heard its name. These are the most underrated tiaras in royal collections. Real diamonds, real history, and almost zero recognition. By the end of this video, you'll know which royal family owns a tiara that's basically the hidden Cambridge Lover's Knot in another country. Let's start where it all began, with a bridesmaid who became a bride in a tiara nobody remembers. Maidenhair Fern Tiara. 6 years after stealing the spotlight as the world's most famous bridesmaid, Pippa Middleton finally had her own royal adjacent moment, and she did it with a tiara almost no one talks about. Pippa Middleton never married into royalty in the traditional sense, but still a party fit for almost royalty. But when she walked down the aisle in 2017 to marry financier James Matthews, she still wore a tiara, and she picked up a title of her own along the way, just not the kind people expected. James isn't royal, but his family's Scottish title, Laird of Glenafric, made Pippa Mrs. Matthews of Glenafric the younger that day. One day, she'll be Lady Glenafric. Not a duchess like her sister Kate, but not nothing either. A quieter kind of almost royalty. So instead of borrowing, she commissioned. London jewellers Robinson Pelham made her a tiara from scratch in 2017, built around a maidenhair fern motif, set in diamonds and 18-carat white gold. The fern wasn't a random choice. It's delicate, almost fragile-looking, with fine branching lines that mimic the actual plant rather than the stiff, formal symmetry you usually see in royal tiaras. The whole thing came together under a cathedral veil by Stephen Jones, on top of a custom. Giles Deacon gown with a Victorian neckline and hand-placed lace, a wedding covered by 2 future British kings and members of the royal family without her ever being one herself. Then the tiara disappeared. No second wearing, no royal engagement to bring it back out. Made for one day, worn for one day, by a woman who left that church with a title nobody talks about and a tiara that she now personally owns but nobody remembers. The bespoke Muawwad investiture tiara. Somewhere in Malaysia, there's a tiara made of Colombian emeralds and nearly 100 carats of diamonds, and you've probably never seen it. Not because it doesn't exist, because the woman who owns it has never actually worn it as a tiara. This is Sultana Nur Diana Petra of Kelantan, and she's sitting on 2 of the most underrated pieces in any royal collection right now. Let's start with the one she has worn, the bespoke Muawwad investiture tiara, custom made by the jewellery house Muawwad, made its public debut at Kelantan's annual investiture ceremony at Istana Balai Besar. Here's the twist. The exact carat weight has never been released. Not leaked, not estimated, not confirmed. The Kelantan Royal Court has simply never said which. For a piece this elaborate is almost unheard of. And it is elaborate. Vine leaves, petals, twisting branches, all carved in 18-carat white gold, set with somewhere between 1,000 and nearly 2,000 brilliant pear and marquise-cut diamonds. In style, it's been compared to the Devonshire tiara, one of the most famous diamond tiaras in the world. Same level of craftsmanship, a fraction of the recognition. But here's the real surprise. In 2025, at the reopening of the Muawwad boutique in Dubai Mall, the Sultana stepped out in a second piece. 54.03 carats of vivid green Colombian emeralds, haloed by 95.43 carats of white diamonds. A statement piece by any measure. Except it wasn't designed to be just one thing. This piece converts. It can be worn as a necklace or transformed into a full tiara. She had both options. She chose the necklace, which means there is a complete emerald and diamond crown sitting somewhere fully built that the public has never seen worn as intended. Not hidden away in a vault for decades, just not chosen yet. Malario Diamond Tiara. This one has over 130 years of history, real royal provenance, and diamonds swapped in from another famous tiara entirely, and it's still one of the most overlooked pieces in the Dutch royal collection. The Malario Diamond Tiara wasn't made for Mabel. It goes back to 1888, part of a massive jewellery order the French house Malario Ditsmelle created for Queen Emma of the Netherlands. Originally it wasn't even all diamond, or it mixed white and brown stones. At some point those brown diamonds were quietly swapped out, replaced with diamonds taken from the upper portion of the Dutch sapphire tiara. So this piece is, in a sense, part original 1888 commission, part borrowed history from another tiara entirely. And yet, ask most people to name a Dutch royal tiara, and this isn't the one they picture. That title usually goes to the sapphire tiara or the Dutch star tiara. This one stays in the background. Here's the twist. The reason might not be about the jewels at all. The tiara made its public debut in 2004, when Mabel Wisser-Smit married Prince Friso of the Netherlands, a wedding shadowed by controversy before it even happened. Thus, the tiara's very first moment in public was tied to a scandal, not a celebration. It resurfaced a few more times, 2007, at King Harold of Norway's 70th birthday, and again in 2010 at Crown Princess Victoria's wedding in Stockholm. But its last public appearance carries the heaviest weight of all. In 2013, Mabel wore it to Queen Beatrix's abdication dinner, while Prince Friso lay in a coma just months before he passed away, one day after Mabel's own birthday. A tiara with a genuine royal pedigree, diamonds borrowed from another famous piece, and a wearer whose story kept pulling attention away from the jewels themselves. The tiara took a setback with scandals and painful events, and is thus hardly worn by Queen Maxima, whatever the reason may be. Queen Sirikit's Thai Tiara. It was custom-built by one of the most famous jewellery houses in the world, involved a level of security most tiara stories never mention, and can be broken down into 4 completely different pieces of jewellery, and almost vanished for decades. The Thai Tiara was created by Van Cleef and Arpels around 1960, commissioned specifically for Queen Sirikit's set with white and yellow diamonds. It was designed in accordance with traditional Thai forms of royal head ornament, a shape rooted in Thailand's own visual language, not borrowed from Europe or Russia the way so many royal tiaras are. Sirikit wore it constantly through the 1960s and 70s, most notably during the King and Queen's landmark tour of Europe in 1960, and it was later loaned out to Princess Bijaratana and Princess Swamsawali. So it wasn't a piece she kept locked away for herself either. Part of the answer may come down to style, not neglect. When Sothida stepped out in Europe, she reached for the diamond fringe, a design the Western world already recognises, built in that Kokoshnik silhouette European royal watchers have seen on queen after queen for over a century. The Thai tiara doesn't have that same instant recognition. Times change, and so does royal style. Sirikit favoured the Thai tiara during her European visits, while Sothida wore jewels for a different global audience now, bringing one of the most spectacular and most underrated pieces in the Thai royal collection back into the light. Selangor Lover's Knot Tiara. There's a lover's knot tiara that's not the Cambridge one, not worn by Diana, not worn by Kate, and almost no royal watcher has ever heard of it. This one belongs to Malaysia. The Selangor Lover's Knot Tiara is a genuinely rare thing in royal jewellery, a brand new commission made locally in Malaysia, which is a real rarity for Malay royal jewels, most of which are historic pieces sourced from European houses like Garrard or Van Cleef and Arpels, and the design is unmistakable. It's built from a row of pearls topped with diamond swags and lover's knots, finished with large South Sea pearls, directly inspired by the original Cambridge Lover's Knot Tiara, created for Princess Augusta, Duchess of Cambridge, around 1818. That's the same design lineage behind Queen Mary's Lover's Knot Tiara, the one Princess Diana made iconic and the one Kate wears today. There are only 5 or 6 identical Lover's Knot tiaras in existence anywhere in the world, and one of them was built for Malaysia's own queen. It belongs to Tengku Permaisuri Norashikin, Queen of Selangor, Malaysia's largest and wealthiest sultanate. And unlike the British version, which has been photographed for over a century, this one has barely been seen at all. Since it was made, she's worn it just twice, once for the Sultan of Selangor's 79th birthday investiture in December 2024, and once for an official portrait likely taken the same day. Here's the twist. Even the Queen who owns it has never reached out for it. There's a tiara in Malaysia that's quietly become the go-to wedding tiara for an entire royal family, worn by bride after bride for nearly 2 decades. And almost no royal fan outside dedicated tiara circles has ever heard its name. Shortly after Tunku Aziza Amina Maimuna Iskandaria of Johor married the Crown Prince of Pahang in 1986, she acquired an Art Deco diamond tiara, a piece originally created in the 1920s. Decades of Art Deco geometry on the head of a new crown princess, in a collection most royal watchers never think to look at. Queen Aziza wore it herself both as a tiara and a necklace across the following years. But here's what makes it genuinely unique. Instead of staying locked to one wearer, it became something closer to a family heirloom on loan, worn by a long line of Pahang princesses at their own weddings, including Princess Nurul Kamalia in 2008, Princess Suraya Afzan and Princess Shazwan Kayyisa in 2013, Princess Afzan Shakira in 2015, and Princess Shahira at her 2017 wedding. And it's still happening. Just this month, Princess Ileana wore the Art Deco diamond tiara for her wedding, the latest bride in an unbroken chain stretching back nearly 40 years, which is exactly why it only ever makes headlines when a wedding happens. It's not sitting in a vault waiting for a coronation or a state visit. It's a working piece, passed hand to hand between brides, which means its entire public story is told one wedding at a time. A quiet, repeating tradition that never got the spotlight, because it was never meant to belong to just one woman. Nearly a century old, passed through generations of Pahang brides, worn again this very month, and still one of the most underrated tiaras in any royal collection. Princess Sibylla's Art Deco tiara. Luxembourg's Grand Ducal family has one of the biggest, most talked about tiara collections in Europe. The Empire tiara, the Congo diamond necklace tiara, the Grand Duchess Adelaide tiara, pieces so large and so historic they dominate every gala photo. And sitting right next to them, almost never mentioned, is a tiara that belongs to just one woman. Princess Sibylla's Art Deco tiara isn't a state heirloom, passed down through generations of Grand Duchesses. It was a personal gift from her parents, the wealthy Italian Torlonia and Weiler family line, given around the time of her marriage to Prince Guillaume of Luxembourg in 1994, which means it never had to compete with the Grand Ducal Vault for space in the history books. It simply got overshadowed by it. And that's a shame. Jewellery connoisseurs should heavily praise the piece for its striking architectural framing and clever engineering that allows it to convert seamlessly from a grand tiara to a subtle bandeau. One tiara, 2 silhouettes, depending on the occasion. It's also quietly done more travelling than most people realise. This tiara has made public rounds across 4 different royal houses, and still nobody talks about it. Next to Luxembourg's towering historic pieces, this one will never win on scale. But for design alone, clean, architectural, genuinely versatile, it deserves far more attention from royal watchers than it's ever gotten. A tiara that belongs to one princess, quietly making its way through Europe's biggest weddings, while all anyone remembers is the vault. That's all for tonight. Let us know which tiara you never heard of, but before you comment to let us know, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more royal stories.